Mother Nature sure knows how to surprise us. Just when we think we have her figured out, she throws us a curveball that leaves us in awe, and sometimes scrambling to adjust. This week, she delivered one of her most dramatic surprises yet, painting the landscape with an unexpected blanket of white. Just as autumn was in full swing, with golden leaves still clinging to the trees and pumpkins on porches, parts of Alaska, Montana, and Wyoming were hit with a winter blast that looked more like January than October. The air, which had been crisp and cool, suddenly turned biting cold, and the skies opened up, releasing a torrent of snow that caught everyone off guard. Heavy, wet snow blanketed the landscape, bending tree branches still full of fall leaves and transforming neighborhoods overnight. The weight of the snow pressed down on everything, creating a surreal scene where autumn and winter collided. Lawns that had been raked just the day before disappeared under a thick, glistening layer of white, and the familiar sights of fall were suddenly hidden beneath winter's icy touch. Residents woke up to a world turned white, caught off guard by the sudden shift. For many, the first glimpse out the window brought disbelief, followed quickly by the realization that plans for the day would have to change. School buses rolled out cautiously, and morning routines were upended as people scrambled to find gloves, hats, and boots that had been packed away for the season. Meteorologists saw the system coming, tracking its progress across the region, but the reality was still a shock. Forecast models had hinted at the possibility, but few expected the snow to fall so heavily or so early. Local news stations lit up with storm alerts, and weather apps buzzed with notifications, but nothing could quite prepare people for the sight of their towns transformed overnight. One day, people were planning fall hikes and enjoying the last warm days of the season. The next, they were digging out snow boots and ice scrapers, swapping light jackets for heavy coats, and bracing themselves for slippery sidewalks and icy windshields. The sudden change forced everyone to adapt quickly, reminding us all how unpredictable the weather can be. This was weather whiplash at its finest, a powerful opening act for winter that left communities scrambling to keep up. Snowplows hit the streets before sunrise, and local crews worked overtime to clear roads and sidewalks. For some, it was an inconvenience. For others, it was a thrilling preview of the season to come. Communities were tested, drivers challenged, and everyone reminded that winter doesn't wait for the calendar. Neighbors came together to help each other dig out, and the spirit of resilience was on full display. Even seasoned locals, used to harsh winters, found themselves caught off guard by the intensity and timing of the storm. Even in states used to harsh winters, this early arrival was different, a headline maker, and a clear signal to expect the unexpected. Newspapers reported record-breaking snowfall for October, and social media buzzed with photos and stories of the storm. It was a reminder that, no matter how prepared we think we are, nature always has the final say. It was a conversation starter, a test of readiness, and a reminder that in the world of weather, surprises are always possible. Families reviewed their emergency kits, neighbors checked in on each other, and everyone shared stories of how they coped with the sudden change. The storm brought people together, sparking conversations about preparedness and resilience, and that's what's on my radar as we dive into this early taste of winter. As the snow settles and life returns to normal, one thing is clear: in these northern states, you can never take the weather for granted. The unexpected is always just around the corner, waiting to remind us of nature's power and beauty. Let's talk timing. Sometimes the calendar says one thing, but nature has its own plans. This year, winter didn't just arrive early. It barged in, uninvited and unstoppable, catching everyone off guard. The first flakes began to fall in Alaska's high country in late September, a little earlier than usual, but nothing too out of the ordinary. What really surprised everyone was how quickly the entire weather system barreled south, picking up speed and intensity as it went. By the first days of October, a powerful cold front collided with a surge of Pacific moisture. The result? A dramatic, almost overnight transformation. Autumn's golden hues were erased, replaced by a thick layer of snow. It was as if someone had flipped a switch, turning fall into winter in less than 24 hours. Normally, these regions brace for their first big snow closer to November, giving people time to prepare. But this year the storm arrived weeks ahead of schedule, leaving communities scrambling to adjust. In places like Casper and Bozeman, Residents went to bed surrounded by the colors of fall and woke up to a world transformed. Overnight, autumn had vanished and winter had taken its place. The setup was classic for a major early-season storm. Arctic air poured down from the north, colliding with moisture-laden air from the Pacific. The result was a perfect recipe for heavy, wet snow that blanketed the Rockies and beyond. Some mountain passes saw more than 2 feet of snow, while even the cities, usually spared the worst this early, were hit with 6 to 12 inches. For many, it was the most snow they'd seen this early in years. The snow didn't melt away quickly either. Lingering cold temperatures kept it around, turning October into a winter wonderland and making it clear that this wasn't just a passing cold snap. Winter had kicked down the door and settled in for the long haul. This wasn't just a light frost or a fleeting dusting, it was a true season changer, a powerful reminder that, when it comes to weather, the only thing you can expect is the unexpected. Imagine waking up on what you thought would be a crisp autumn morning, expecting to see golden leaves and maybe a little frost on the grass, but instead, you pull back the curtains and are greeted by a world blanketed in white. Overnight, fall has vanished, replaced by a thick, silent layer of snow that covers every tree, rooftop, and street. The surprise is almost surreal. Yesterday, pumpkins lined the porches, and today, they're buried under snowdrifts. For the kids, it's pure magic. They rush outside in their pajamas, laughter echoing as they build snowmen with carrot noses and launch the season's first snowball fights. The unexpected snow day feels like a bonus holiday, a chance to play in a winter wonderland before Halloween has even arrived. But for the adults, that initial wonder quickly gives way to a sense of urgency. There's a sudden realization that winter has arrived weeks early, and no one is quite ready for it. The joy on the kids' faces is matched by the worried looks exchanged over coffee mugs. In a matter of minutes, the house is a flurry of activity. Parents dig through closets for winter coats and boots that haven't seen daylight since last March. Snow shovels are pulled from the garage, and bags of ice melt are scattered on slippery steps. The morning routine is thrown into chaos as everyone scrambles to adjust. Weekend plans for apple picking and pumpkin patches are suddenly out the window. Instead of hayrides and cider, families are making emergency trips to the hardware store for snow supplies. The local farm stands and orchards, once bustling with autumn activity, now sit eerily quiet under a blanket of snow. Farmers, caught off guard, rush to cover vulnerable crops and salvage what they can. Outdoor events, fall festivals, markets, even weddings, are either canceled or hastily moved indoors as tents collapse under the unexpected weight of snow. Even the simplest routines like walking the dog become mini adventures. Bundled up in layers, people trudge through snowdrifts that weren't there the night before, turning a quick stroll into a full-on winter expedition. The familiar sounds of birds and rustling leaves are replaced by the scrape of shovels and the roar of snowblowers. Driveways and sidewalks are cleared in a communal effort to reclaim some sense of normalcy. Neighbors come together, helping each other dig out cars and clear walkways. There's a sense of camaraderie in the shared scramble, as everyone pitches in to tackle winter's early arrival. The storm doesn't just disrupt plans, it tests everyone's flexibility and resilience. Playgrounds sit empty, event signs announce cancellations, and outdoor decorations are hastily adjusted or brought inside. It's a classic case of best-laid plans meeting one of Mother Nature's curveballs. Calendars fill with crossed-out events, and families gather at windows, watching as their autumn dreams are put on hold. Overnight, the rhythm of daily life has shifted. Scraping ice from windshields replaces raking leaves. Everyone, from kids to grandparents, has to adapt, fast. It's a morning of surprise, scrambling, and a reminder that in these northern towns, you always have to expect the unexpected. The storm's impact was felt everywhere, but especially on the roads. Highways turned slick and dangerous, with drivers unprepared for winter conditions. Plows and salt trucks worked overtime, but the snow fell faster than they could clear. Schools called snow days. Businesses delayed openings, and the economy hit pause. For farmers, the timing was devastating. Crops flattened, fields impassable, and livestock at risk. Power outages spread as heavy snow brought down branches and lines. Community centers opened for warmth and shelter. The storm exposed how quickly a weather event can disrupt daily life and test community resilience. It was a real-world stress test for everyone. With winter's early arrival, families shifted into prep mode. Closets were raided for boots and coats, and hardware stores saw a run on shovels and salt. Neighbors swapped stories and advice in crowded aisles, united by surprise. Grocery stores were packed as people stocked up on essentials and comfort food. The storm turned a regular fall weekend into a hibernation drill. Car prep became urgent, tire shops were swamped, and emergency kits flew off shelves. The message was clear: get ready for winter, now. The early snow was a wake-up call, moving up everyone's winter checklist. Preparation became a community ritual, a shared response to the unexpected. The scramble was stressful, but it brought people together. The early snow didn't just catch people off guard, it shocked the natural world too. Trees still full of leaves buckled under the weight, causing power outages and damage. Bears and other wildlife had to scramble for food or shelter, with some forced into hibernation early. Squirrels and chipmunks raced to finish gathering food, while migratory birds took the storm as a cue to head south. The snow insulated the ground, delaying the freeze but trapping moisture, potentially impacting spring planting. The storm redrew the ecological calendar overnight. Plants, animals, and people all had to adjust to a new timeline. The consequences will echo into the next season. Sure, Alaska, Montana, and Wyoming are used to snow, but this was different. The timing was everything. Winter arrived before anyone was ready. Municipalities hadn't finished prepping plows or stocking salt, and public works scrambled to catch up. People were still in an autumn mindset, unprepared for the mental and physical demands of winter. The snow was heavy and wet, tough to shovel, hard on trees and power lines. This wasn't the light, fluffy snow of midwinter, it was a back-breaking early-season challenge. The abrupt change left many feeling overwhelmed. Even the most winter-hardened residents were caught off guard. This storm was a curveball, unexpected, intense, and a true test of readiness. It proved that even the snow-savvy can be surprised. The storm's story played out differently across Alaska, Montana, and Wyoming. In Alaska, the volume of snow was the main concern, ending the tourist season and signaling the long winter ahead. Montana faced a contrast. Mountain towns took it in stride, but farmers saw crops flattened and routines upended. Wyoming's wide-open spaces and key highways became battlegrounds, with I-80 closures disrupting national commerce. Each state faced unique challenges, but all shared the shock of an early winter. From Anchorage to Cheyenne, people dug out together, united by surprise. The storm wrote a connected story across thousands of miles. Mother Nature reminded everyone she sets the schedule. What's the lesson from this early winter? Always be prepared. Assemble your winter kits for home and car before the first flake falls. Stock up on blankets, flashlights, food, and water. Think of it as weather insurance. For your car, invest in winter tires and keep an emergency kit with essentials. Stay informed, follow forecasts, use weather apps, and sign up for alerts. Adjust travel plans and give road crews time to work. If you must drive, go slow and keep your distance. Check on neighbors, especially those who need extra help. Preparation and community make all the difference. That's the latest. Stay safe and stay ready for whatever winter brings.